There are two ways to program the DustTrack for a sampling event, by using the touchscreen or by using the Track Pro software. The touchscreen method is easiest and will be covered first. To program using the touchscreen, first turn the DustTrack on. Tap Run Mode at the bottom of the screen. There are two drop-down menus that will appear. Clicking on the first one supplies you with a list of 7 options for running the DustTrack. For example, in Survey mode, the DustTrack's main screen will show real-time data, but will not record it. In Manual mode, the DustTrack can manually be started and stopped. Another choice is Test 1, which is most likely to be used. In this mode, the DustTrack can be programmed to start and stop on its own. More descriptions of these modes are available in the manual. Select Test 1 with the stylus and go to the second drop-down menu. All the settings for Test 1 can now be changed. To change a setting, select it from the menu. For example, selecting Test Length brings up this screen, allowing the number of days, hours, and minutes the instrument will run to be altered. Let's say a program needs to run for 24 hours. Change the number of days to 1 using the up and down arrows and set the hours and minutes to 0. Now tap Save to save your new settings. You will return to the screen with both drop-down menus. From the second menu, now select Log Interval. The log interval is an averaging period for the DustTrack. What this means is that if the log interval is 1 minute, the instrument will log a sample every 1 minute, which is an average over that time. The log interval can be set to something smaller, like 1 second, which produces a lot of data, or something bigger, like 30 minutes, which is useful for very long sample periods. Most generally, the 1 minute interval is used. This works well for 24 or 48-hour sampling events. What you need to be concerned about is how much memory your program will use up, and that has a lot to do with the size of your log interval. A small log interval means more saved data and more memory used. When altering the setting on your instrument, use the up and down arrows to adjust the desired minutes and seconds. The program can run more than once if desired by changing the number of tests. It will repeat the set test length. Select Number of Tests and use the up and down arrows to change the value. If only 1 test is needed, the time between tests needs to be set to the default value of 1 minute. If more than 1 test is designated, change this value to however long you want the instrument to wait before starting its next test. Next in the drop-down menu is the time constant. Changing this value will not affect recorded data. Instead, this affects how the main screen will display real-time values. This setting works well at 1 second. This means the DustTrack's main screen updates itself every second with particulate matter values. It gives you an at-a-glance idea of how much particulate is in your environment. Continuing down the list, there's a setting that reads Use Start Date. Next to it should be the word Yes if you want the program to start on a certain date by itself. To adjust if it says yes or no, tap the Use Start Date setting and then use the up-down arrows to change it. Then tap Save. Below this option in the drop-down menu is Start Date. Here is where you set what date the DustTrack should automatically start. Select this option and then use the arrows to change the month, day, and year. Tap Save when you are done. Further down the menu, make sure that Use a Start Time has Yes next to it if you want the DustTrack to start automatically at a certain time. To change this setting, tap it and use the up and down arrows. Tap Save to keep it stored. Next, adjust the start time. Select this option and use the arrows to change hour, minute, and second settings to reflect when the instrument will start sampling. Remember that the time needs to be in 24-hour or military format. Tap Save when done. The remaining 2 options in this drop-down menu are Use Auto Zero and the Auto Zero Interval. These do not need to be adjusted because they require a second piece of auto-zeroing equipment which will not be used. Make sure Use Auto Zero is set to No. Make sure Track Pro is installed on your computer. Turn the DustTrack on and connect it to the computer with the USB cable. Open Track Pro and in the Instrument Setup menu, select Logging Setup. The pop-up screen that appears allows you to type in the start time, start date, test length, number of tests, and time between tests. The information will be sent to the DustTrack and a box will appear that says that the transfer was successful. Your instrument is now programmed.